Rest in peace, Margaret and Meg and Marg and Mom and Nana. This is the 1 year anniversary of the passing of my mother, and I kind of woke up at I was gonna do this like 2 a.m. Just because that's when it struck me, and then I thought a couple of things. One, you're gonna freak out if you get a 2 a.m. bell ringer. You're gonna think something has happened on the cowboy beat, and I don't want to wake you up that way. And then two, I thought, you better think about this. You all have been very kind when I've mentioned anything about my personal life. And I hope when you talk about your personal life in the comments, and you have, I hope that I've reciprocated there. So I share this more because it's cathartic, is that the word? For me, than it is of value to you, although I will try to offer value to you by saying this. On Facebook especially, and we mentioned this the other day about loving the Cowboys but hating the Cowboys and that tendency. I've really struggled when I see that, as I told you. And then I also sometimes scratch my head at, when people post on social media, boy, I had a terrible day today. This is the worst that's ever happened. And then they don't explain what happened. They don't say what happened. So you're left thinking that somebody died. When in fact, sometimes it means, my car ran out of gas and I had to walk home. And I read those and sometimes go, are the people leaving that hanging so more people will respond, so they garner sympathy and empathy, and more people say, oh, you poor thing. And why do they do that? That's what I've thought. Why do they need to do that? And now as I'm thinking about my mom and thinking about this conversation, it occurs to me because everybody wants to be touched, because everybody wants a hug. Even if you have to kind of wave your hands or beg for it, or be a little seemingly unnecessarily dramatic about it, everybody needs a hug. And so I'm going to try to be a little less judgmental of that person on social media that is begging for a hug. I'm going to try to do a better job just giving them one. Because on the year anniversary of the passing of my mom, I need one. It occurs to me, and will probably for the rest of my life on this particular date, this particular week. But then also, obviously, occurs to me daily. All the things that she not only meant to me, but all the things she meant to a whole bunch of people. There's a friend of my sister's, younger sister. I'm the oldest of 6 kids, and her name's Donnie. And she posted the other day, in remembrance of my mom. She said, she was my biggest fan, your mom was. And Donnie said, I wish the rest of the world saw me the way your mom saw me. And that was my mom. She, her final wish was to be cremated. She had a specific guideline for the 6 of us. She wrote, all I ask, she wrote this with a literary wink, with my ashes, all I ask is, don't smoke them. Ha ha. She was not just a mother of 7, a grandmother to 11, great-grandmother to a growing collection of preciousness. She was, and always has been, everybody's mom. Some people collect stamps or baseball cards. You might collect football memorabilia since you hang out here with me, football stuff. My mom collected kids. It was incredible at the time, and it's incredible looking back now. If any one of the 6 of us had a friend, that friend became her child. Loved and protected and defended, really defended, as if she devoted 9 painful months to birthing every single one of them. And I'm talking about, I don't know, hundreds of people that she touched in this way. Thousands? Every single stray or random or vagrant school chum or neighborhood kid, every girlfriend, every boyfriend of her offspring, every ex-girlfriend and ex-boyfriend of her offspring, which created some drama in the house when we were growing up sometimes, was welcome. In her arms, in her home, in her heart. Defender? Yeah. She was really good at warmly lecturing all of us that we could really become president of the United States. And she didn't say it like it was some meme. Now, of course, this is way before there was such a thing as a meme. She meant it. But also, if you decide to become a plumber, which was kind of the family business, then you're going to be the best plumber in the United States. President of the United States, plumber of the United States. Either way, you're going to be incredible. What stood in the way of her kids' successes? Why didn't we become presidents or the greatest plumbers? They're outstanding plumbers, by the way, my family. Always a mean teacher, probably, or a misanthropic boss, or a biased coach. The reality, obviously, and it took me till I was about 25 to see it. The reality is my mom was the one who was biased. The coaches weren't against my brothers. The teachers weren't against my brothers. The bosses weren't against me. It was my mom that was biased. But gosh, we loved it. One of my sister's best friends, one of the army of Meg's kids, will tell you, I'd come to her with a problem, and by the time she was done with me, she'd make me feel like it was all somebody else's fault. All the Fisher boys, 5 of us, were athletes, except for me. I was Mr. Tryhard, but boy, I sucked. But she took it beyond that. She was orange slices, of course, but this was next level. She was blind to our limitations. She was ignorant of the obstacles. She was a confirmer of dreams. And I'll give you a great example of it. One of my younger brothers, Rick, very good baseball player, very good athlete. He played football his whole life, then decided in high school to not play, I believe. And then his senior year said, I think I do want to do something else besides baseball. So he went out for the swim team. And they said, we need a diver. And he said, okay, I'll try it. And he made all conference. He'd never done it before. Had no idea what he was doing. An all conference diver on the swim team with no experience. He was outstanding high school baseball player, college prospect. We had Gojo's Legion A team. They would win state that year, and Rick was at third base, changed from his lifetime status. He was always the shortstop. So we're driving back, 3-hour round trip to go watch him play. We're driving back, and my mom says to me, why don't they let Rick play shortstop like he's supposed to? And by the way, she never missed a game. 3-hour round trip, every game, every kid, every grandkid, everything, every game. Why don't they let Rick play shortstop like he's supposed to? Well, Ma, I explained, patiently, I hope. Rick's at third base because the guy at shortstop is so good. I think his name was Mike Anderson. The guy at shortstop's so good, he just got drafted by the Cincinnati Reds. And my mom says, well, Mike, she said it rather tartly, maybe you ought to get a hold of the Cincinnati Reds and tell them they drafted the wrong shortstop. She wasn't a pushy mom. She wasn't a stage mom. She was just a selflessly ever-present mom. I'll give you an example that now, I guess I shouldn't be embarrassed by this. It's been long enough, but this is embarrassing. I didn't drive till I was 18. I think I was, she would tell the story saying that I used to say, I just think these other drivers are out to get me. I think that's the way she tells the tale. I was just scared to drive. I knew I wasn't good at it. I didn't like it. I didn't drive till I was 18. But I started dating at 13. I started working at 14. And I started college at 16. So I was kind of a dork. But how did I date, work, and go to college at age 13 and 14 and 15? She drove me. Yes, yes, on dates too. But she drove me to work, she drove me to college, all of it. In the early 70s, she told me not to worry about getting drafted to serve in Vietnam, that she would grab me and we'd move to Canada before she let that happen. And it was all very stimulating and exciting and thrilling till we agreed that since I was 12 years old, I probably wasn't going to get drafted to go to Vietnam. Probably not too much of a concern, but thanks, Mom, for looking out. She did flex that same protective muscle with all six of us when the subject of murder would come up. And I hope you can take this in the right tone. Same as the draft dodging to Vietnam draft dodging Vietnam to Canada when I was 12. We would talk about if any of us ever got accused of murder, which, by the way, for a couple of my brothers actually was feasible. She would take the rap. I'll take the rap, she would say, and you go to Canada. She was going to go to prison and pretend that she was the murderer, and she meant it. Her greatest legacy, Margaret, Marg, Meg, Mom, Ma, Nana, taught us all how to parent fiercely. When my boys were young, I'd sing them a made-up lullaby called You're Handsome, Smart, and Nice. It was my creation, but it was her inspiration. It was typical of Mom's usual injection into every single little thing I've ever done. And Mom's contribution to every little thing that hundreds and really maybe thousands of her kids do every day. So I'm sharing this with you now in the same spirit that she shared herself, mind and body and soul, for 80 years. It was a year ago this week that was her final day, and it's about good thoughts. It's about my good thoughts about her, and it's maybe about our good thoughts about each other as we recognize the struggles that people have online and then in real life too. Good thoughts, because in my honor of her, I remember that good thoughts are all that everybody's mom ever had for me and for you and for all her kids. Love you, Mom.